Good afternoon. Dr. Choi, Dr. Hempstead, our faculty, family, friends, and of course our students of 2021, welcome to our annual White Coat Ceremony here at Weill Cornell Medical College. My name is Dana Zappetti. I'm the Associate Dean of Student Affairs. I oversee orientation, and it's really my pleasure to welcome you here today to what I think is the highlight of our orientation week. Students, meeting you again after interviews is really a treat, and it's extra special to meet some of your family and friends today. The study of medicine and becoming a doctor is really a long journey, and we all need the love of our family and friends to get us over that finish line. Please know that you're about to meet some of the best friends you've ever had, and today we welcome you to our Weill Cornell family. I think our students get tired of hearing me say this, but being a doctor is really the best job in the whole world. It's true, there are a few professions out there where you could measure your impact on someone's life literally on a daily basis. Whether you become a clinician, a physician scientist, a medical educator, or some combination, each of your days will be met with a new challenge, with meeting new people, and with much satisfaction. If you allow it, a life in medicine will fill you with tolerance, patience, and above all, perspective about what is really important. Like I said, it's the best job in the world. Physicians didn't start wearing white coats until around the turn of the century, the 20th century, that is. And the first white coat ceremony happened only about 24 years ago here in the US. So many of the faculty that you'll learn from over the next few years never had an opportunity to have a ceremony such as this. Don't get me wrong, we all remember putting our white coat on for the first time. It just usually was a little less public. It's a special moment, however, no matter what the setting. So as you walk around our medical center, you're going to see a lot of people wearing white coats. Many of them are physicians and students. Some are nurses, some are pharmacists, some are physical or occupational therapists, some are physician assistants. If you rotate up at Cayuga Medical Center, you might even see a few veterinarians wearing white coats. You see, the white coat is the uniform of our team. And today, in 2017, medicine really requires a lot of teamwork. The common link of everyone on this white coat team, if you will, is that we devote our professional lives to the care of others. We aim to heal, to treat, to cure, and to comfort. Some say that by wearing a white coat, we cover up some of ourselves. We lose a little bit of our individuality as we serve. We cover up the need for reward or for praise. It is true that sometimes we have to put our feelings, our emotions, our opinions aside as we practice medicine. But for me, this white coat is a symbol of trust. It's a promise to value science over ignorance, to value people over circumstance, and a reminder that we really are all in this together. Today, as we help you to don your white coat for the first time in this very public setting, we are welcoming you to the team and wishing you a long and very fulfilling life in medicine. We're very grateful to the Buster Foundation for its generous support of the white coat ceremony this year and every year. They have contributed the white coats you're about to don. In addition, this foundation established the Dr. Paul Miskovitz Stethoscope Fund for medical students, which underwrites the expense of the stethoscopes you're about to receive. We thank the foundation for their commitment to our student body and their unwavering trust in us. Running the ceremony today is Dr. Barbara Hempstead. Dr. Hempstead is the Senior Associate Dean of Education. In that role, she oversees all aspects of medical education here at Weill Cornell. Students, you met her this morning, and as I said, you're going to get to know her very well. Dr. Hempstead is a graduate of Tufts University, and she received both her MD and her PhD degree from Washington University School of Medicine's Medical Scientist Training Program in St. Louis. She completed her residency in internal medicine and fellowship in hematology-oncology here at New York Presbyterian Hospital, Weill Cornell. In her years at Weill Cornell, she has really done it all. She's practiced hematology and oncology. She co-chaired that division for over a decade. She taught our medical students on the wards and in the classroom. She served as the Associate Dean of Faculty Development, and she still runs her very busy research lab. So please enjoy our ceremony, and please welcome Dr. Hempstead.
thrilled to welcome everyone here today, students, families, friends, guests, staff, and faculty members. Sitting up front, and I'm going to be introducing many of you in just a few minutes, are the individuals who are going to help us with this coding ceremony as coders, as they help our students for the first time as budding physicians put on their white coats. Now, many of you, particularly those who are parents and family members, remember what it was like to help your children get dressed for major transitions. It might have been kindergarten, or the prom, or graduation ceremonies, but today we're celebrating and marking another transition in the lives of these now remarkable adults as they begin their formal journey in professional development as physicians. To this end, the white coat ceremonies, as Dr. Stepetti mentioned, reflect the symbolic action of our faculty helping our students put on their coats and essentially getting dressed to be a physician. It's a symbol of how we, as faculty, staff, administrators, help your daughters, sons, brothers, sisters, spouses, friends, loved ones develop into superb young physicians. Now, I'm going to be announcing the names of our distinguished faculty who will be participating in this event, and as I say the name of each faculty member, I'd ask him or her to stand. Now, you've already met Dr. Stepetti, and she's introduced me. So we'll move on to the next, and I'm going to be introducing Dr. Choi and Dr. Crawford a little bit later on in the program. Dr. Peter Marzik, however, is the Associate Dean of Curricular Affairs and Professor of Psychiatry. He's also the course director for the second year Health, Illness, and Disease, and he's going to be teaching you, students, at the 9 a.m. session tomorrow. So, Dr. Chuck Bardis is the Associate Dean of Admissions and Professor of Clinical Medicine. Our curriculum has three themes: scientific basis of medicine, patient care, and physicianship. And he is the physicianship theme leader. As our admissions dean, he also admitted every one of you in this class to school. So we have him and his superb assistant, Allison Smith, and their fantastic thanks to them for your being here. Next is Dr. Sibel Klimstra. She's the Associate Dean of Academic Affairs and Professor of Clinical Psychiatry. She's someone that the students will get to know very well because she helps them with career advising and in the residency matching progress. Next is Dr. Linny Golightly. She is one of two Associate Deans of Diversity at Weill Cornell. She's an Associate Professor of Medicine and of Medicine and Microbiology and Immunology, and she's a specialist in infectious disease. She is a Weill Cornell alum. Weill Cornell, located in one of the most diverse cities in the world, is committed to educating a diverse workforce of the future, and we're grateful for Dr. Golightly and her colleague, Dr. Simmons, Rasha Simmons, for their efforts. Next is Dr. Ollie Fine, and he's the Associate Dean of Affiliations, and he helps us work with each of our affiliate hospitals, which provide our students with a wide range of training opportunities. He's Professor of Clinical Medicine and Clinical Healthcare Policy and Research. Next is Dr. Yoon Kang, Associate Dean for Program Development, who's charged with overseeing many aspects of the new curriculum in the clinical years. She's also the director of our Clinical Skills Center and is the Richard P. Cohen Associate Professor of Medical Education. And speaking of Dr. Cohen, in whose honor Dr. Kang's professorship is endowed, is a Weill Cornell alum and clinical professor of medicine. He's also a key liaison with our alumni and has been a leader in fundraising campaigns focused on medical education. Dr. Lou Drusen is also a Weill Cornell alumnus and is a professor of clinical medicine and clinical healthcare policy and research and a past president of our Alumni Association. He is one of our most trusted advisors and mentors, and he keeps close contact with many of our alums. Dr. Keith Lascalia is Associate Professor of Clinical Medicine and one of our esteemed internists here at Weill Cornell. For all the students, you'll get to know him well because he's one of the unit leaders in patient care and physicianship during the first semesters, and he oversees a longitudinal patient experience program called LEAP. Dr. Joe Finns, another Weill Cornell alum, is the E. William Davis Professor of Medical Ethics, and he holds professorship in many departments: medicine, medicine and psychiatry, medical ethics and neurology, and healthcare policy and research. Our students already had a chance to meet with him this morning as he led their session on the Hippocratic Oath. Dr. Paul Miskovitz, another Weill Cornell alum and a past president of our Alumni Association, is the clinical professor of medicine, and it is in his name that the Buster Foundation established the Stethoscope Fund. Next, we have Dr. Ernie Esquivel, who is an assistant professor of medicine at Weill Cornell. Students, you will get to know him well because he is the clerkship director for internal medicine and the winner of multiple teaching awards bestowed by our students. So we're really grateful to all of the faculty and staff who are involved in our students' education, and thankful for the help that they provide us today. Now, I've already had a chance to talk with the class of 2021 earlier this morning, but speaking on behalf of all the faculty educators at Weill Cornell, 1,700 of us, this is a day of real excitement and joy, because we're recognizing that these incoming students are going to be very important members of our community. Over the next 4 years or more, and I know some of you are dedicated to be here a little more than 4 years, we are committed to supporting each and every one of you to ensure that you as our students receive exemplary training, which will allow you to become exceptional physicians and lifelong learners. And we will know that we have succeeded when you become the next generation of educators, clinicians, and academicians in your own right. So now I would like to turn and introduce our Dean, Dr. Augustine Choi. He's the Dean of the Medical School and the Provost for Medical Affairs at Cornell University. Dr. Choi came to New York City in 2013 from Harvard, where he was the Parker Francis Professor of Medicine at Harvard Medical School and the Chief of Pulmonary and Critical Care Medicine at the Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston. He came to New York to become chairman of the Department of Medicine and physician-in-chief at New York Presbyterian Hospital, Weill Cornell. He received his MD degree from the University of Louisville and completed his residency at Duke, followed by a fellowship in pulmonary and critical care medicine at Johns Hopkins University. He served on the faculty and staff at Johns Hopkins, Yale, University of Pittsburgh, where he was the chief of pulmonary, allergy, and critical care medicine. Dr. Choi is a distinguished physician scientist with expertise in the pathology and biology of lung diseases. He's the author of over 300 original publications, 16 book chapters, and more than 70 reviews. He's a member of the American Society of Clinical Investigation and the Association of American Professors. He's currently funded by multiple R01 grants and 2 program project grants. An innovator in all aspects of the academic mission, he has a long-standing commitment to the training of the next generation in healthcare and scientific leaders, and has mentored more than 70 trainees and faculty members in this capacity. If that weren't enough, he's our esteemed Dean of Weill Cornell Medicine, a thoughtful man, a wise mentor, and it is my pleasure to introduce him to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hempstead, and good afternoon to all of you. I'm so honored to welcome all of you to Weill Cornell Medicine today to share this very special occasion with our new students, their family members, and friends. We're here to recognize the significant achievement our students have made in getting to this important milestone and to mark the beginning of the journey in medicine. I know exactly how excited all the students, their family members, and friends here today must be. My wife Mary and I are both physician scientists, and we were thrilled when our 2 sons have pursued medicine as well. I'd like to congratulate our new students on earning a place in this very competitive class. You're an impressive group of individuals, and we are very fortunate to have you here. As you prepare to take on the challenges of medical school, please remember that you will have the support and guidance of our faculty who are eager to mentor you and to see you succeed and become the best doctors you can be. This is an extremely exciting time to be in medical school. I know all generations say that. It truly is. Advances in basic and translational research are providing truly transformative therapies, while technological developments are revolutionizing many aspects of medicine. Today's ceremonies marks the first step in your training and in what we hope will be a lifetime of learning about medicine, science, and most importantly, humanity. In 4 years when you graduate, our goal is that you'll be well positioned to help your patients, our patients, and to provide fresh ideas for advancing healthcare nationwide and worldwide. Last weekend, following a tradition here that I've got to know, the entire class was invited to the medical college camp experience. Sorry about the rain and the weather. The faculty can do a lot of magic, but not the weather. Thanks to the outstanding organizational and leadership skills of our current medical students and other medical students during a supervised wilderness weekend in the Ithaca area, this student initiative really emphasizes collaboration and team spirit, provides a warm and fitting introduction to Weill Cornell medicine. In the coming months and years, you'll get to know your classmates even better. And I think you'll discover that some pretty special people who will become your colleagues and friends. The class of 2021 has an extraordinary diversity of backgrounds. You have residents of 25 US states, Egypt, Italy, 47% are women, 16% are from groups underrepresented in medicine. You have attended 53 different undergraduate colleges, and 18 of you attended Cornell University. 10 of you have earned master's degree, and 1 holds a doctoral degree. And I think about 18 of you will get a PhD here while you're here. This class has significant global ties, with members being born in 11 countries. More than half of you are bilingual or multilingual, and we can find translators of 22 different languages. 2 students have studied and performed research in the United Kingdom and India through Fulbright Awards. You have lived, worked, and studied abroad in countries spanning 5 continents. We'll get to the 6th one, but Antarctica is a little tough. From Argentina to Uganda. This class artistic pursuits also reflects your wide cultural diversity. We have dancers, choreographers trained in South Asian, Irish, Latin American, Caribbean, and Chinese styles, and more. Our instrumentalists could fill a chamber orchestra, and we have a number of talented vocalists, including a singer trained in Carnatic music. I had to Google that one. Other arts avocations range from origami to costume and lighting design. Your team spirit is reflected in your athletic pursuits at the varsity and club level. You have competed in archery, lacrosse, rugby, Thai, boxing, basketball, water polo, and more. 7 of you were team captains in ultimate frisbee, jiu-jitsu, table tennis, yes. I'm surprised by that reaction. You don't know me yet. No. Powerlifting and dragon boat racing. 1 member of the class has hiked the Pacific Crest Trail, and another climbed the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro. And as a pulmonologist, I'm really impressed about that. I like to read that. You've demonstrated a deep commitment to service and have collectively completed over 300 community service activities. You have volunteered for extended periods of time with national, international, and local service organizations, including Big Sisters, Big Brothers, Broadway Cares, and Habitat for Humanity, to name a few. A large number of you have had leadership positions in national organizations, student governments, and campus organizations. You've had a wide variety of other activities, jobs, and professions, far too many to list today. Practically all of you have significant experience in an array of research fields. Many of you have completed honored theses. Others have authors or co-authors of papers, abstracts published in scientific journals, and or have attended national and international scientific conferences. 3 students were Berry Goldwater Scholars, and 2 students alumni of our tri-institutional Gateway to the Laboratory program. And so, to each of you, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to Weill Cornell Medicine. I look forward to your continuing the legacy of collaboration, initiative, and service that characterizes Weill Cornell Medicine. Welcome to New York City and Weill Cornell. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Choi, and now it's my pleasure to introduce to you our White Coat speaker for Orientation 2017. Dr. Carl B Crawford is Assistant Professor of Medicine at Weill Cornell. A 1996 graduate of Georgetown University, he received his medical degree from Yale University School of Medicine, where he was chosen as a prestigious Howard Hughes Medical Institute Research Fellow. He came to New York Presbyterian Hospital, Weill Cornell Medical Center, to complete his internship and residency training in internal medicine and a fellowship in gastroenterology and hepatology. Dr. Crawford is yet another example of how our faculty uphold the mission of care, discover, and teach. Dr. Crawford is one of the most respected and sought-after clinicians in our institution. In addition to his busy clinical practice, he's the recipient of the Lewis and Rudin Foundation grant for the study of enteric pathogens and is considered an expert in the study of gastrointestinal infections. Beloved by students and residents alike, Dr. Crawford is the program director in the Gastroenterology and Hepatology Fellowship Program and a mentor to trainees interested in this field of study. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Carl Crawford to deliver the White Coat address.
That's probably the nicest introduction I've ever had, so I appreciate that. So I want to say, med students, parents, family, friends, and faculty, I'm very humbled to stand here before you, and I'd like to thank Dean Choi, Dan Zapetti, Barbara Hempstead, and the organizers of this whole event for asking me to help welcome the class of 2021. I love being a physician, and it brings me great joy to see about 100 strong of you ready to do the same thing that I love. My White Coat ceremony was actually 20 years ago, but I still remember it like it was yesterday. So as you've heard, the White Coat ceremony is a ritual to signify your transition into the profession of clinical sciences. All of the determination, the sweat, the blood, the tears, the sacrifices, failures, and successes have all paid off to get you into those seats. For the majority of you, just a few months ago, you tossed your graduation caps, and now today, you're going to be putting on your white coats. So that's very exciting, and congratulations. And this is not just exciting for you, but for your family, friends, former faculty, and all who supported you through your journey to get here. And of course, the entire medical community here is also excited to accept you into our family of healers. And we should be proud to have you here. You're an impressive class, as Dr. Choi said. And it seems that every year the applicant pool becomes stronger and stronger, if that could even be possible. My hat's off to you. So now you're here and probably don't know what to expect. And it's okay to be a little nervous, because medical school is somewhat different than what you've been used to. You will be a part of something larger, not just with your class, but with countless numbers of physicians who have gone before you. Your intellect will be pushed to the limits, and you will come to recognize and understand the sacred bond between you and your patients, which is the whole reason for all of this. You were the best in your class wherever you came from, but now you'll be sitting next to the bests of the bests from around the country, but don't be intimidated. It's absolutely normal in the upcoming months for you to have doubts when you start seeing things for the first time, like trying to make sense of physiology, or finding room to remember all that pharmacology, or even how to handle the waves of emotions that come with knowing someone donated their body for you to learn the intricacies of human anatomy. This is also not the time to be isolated in your thinking and learning. One of the most important aspects of medicine is interaction with your colleagues, and it's the only way to move forward and understand complex ideas in this day and age. You won't be in this alone. You are all in the same boat, and luckily, in addition to the more than supportive faculty you are about to sort of like meet, you are also among a hand-selected group of individuals who will support you all of the time, and that's your classmates. You'll see each other at all hours of the day and night, at your best and at your worst, and you'll develop memories and bonds that are going to last you a lifetime. The environment at Cornell is one of community, and I'll give you a few examples. A group of med students in 2010 were interested in how to translate discoveries and ideas into real-world medicine and products. They didn't try to go about creating a secret business on the side, but instead they formed the Bench to Bedside initiative, staffed with knowledgeable faculty, for all students interested in learning how to create biotech startups, and it continues to grow. Another example, which is my favorite, because I can get people enthused about diarrhea, is a couple of young med students approached me after I gave the diarrhea lecture earlier this year. So don't worry, they were okay. They had no symptoms, but they were interested in GI. But they approached me, not so that they can get a leg up on everyone else about applying to residency, but how they could help other classmates get involved in GI research and understand what does it mean to be a gastroenterologist. So we formed a GI interest group and invested countless hours determining what are we going to name this group. We eventually decided upon Butts and Guts. And we had our first and quite productive meeting earlier this year, which was attended by faculty and students and loaded with lots of ice cream and lactose intolerance. But these are just a few examples of how even your own classmates can be a source of academic and professional support for you. So as much as you thrive as an individual before, be open to working together as a team, to teach, to learn, and to support each other. Medical school is different, so relax. You'll love it here at Cornell. And while you're here, you'll find that you will be able to touch and change people's lives even before you graduate. So medicine is constantly changing, and your generation is bombarded with a fast pace of disruptive technologies that have such great potential to improve healthcare and its delivery. I've dated myself previously, but when I was in medical school, there was no Google, there was no Wikipedia, no UpToDate. My browsers were something called Netscape and Mosaic, which you've never heard of. We had hardcover Encyclopedia Britannicas, and we had to go to the basement of the library to print out journal articles, 10 cents a sheet, because nothing was online. You, however, are coming into medicine at an explosive time for technology and knowledge. And as a result, there are new fields of medicine that did not exist when I was a trainee, or even 5 years ago. You will be learning about things like personalized medicine, chimeric antigen receptor T-cell therapy for cancers, CRISPR technology for gene editing, augmented reality in education, telemedicine, quantified health technologies like your phone apps or those wearable devices, 3D printing in health medicine, and my favorite, the microbiome. You will learn about all of these advancements in detail and much more, which will take you to the perfect place to be at the forefront to solve some of humanity's biggest healthcare problems, such as cancer, superbugs, the obesity epidemic, the opioid epidemic, emerging and re-emerging diseases like Zika virus, Ebola, or C. difficile, global health issues, healthcare disparities, accidental, natural, and unfortunately, in this day and age, even deliberate disasters, to name a few. Meanwhile, as you're trying to figure out how to solve these problems or your place in this profession, some of your former college classmates and friends are now employed. Some are buying cars and homes and paying off their student debt. And you, committing yourself to 4 years of medical school, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars in loans, 3 years of residency, maybe 3 years of a fellowship, a master's degree, a PhD, or an MBA, all thrown in there. Sleepless nights, maybe even missing fun things and social events, and what would be considered normal activities of daily living. I wouldn't even be surprised if this winter you miss seeing sunlight for a couple days in a row. And that even goes to your sister school in Qatar. And that goes on and on and on. So it seems like you're walking into the upside down world. After hearing that, why would anyone in their right mind want to do this? Why would you want to go there? Why would you want to sacrifice so much? But you wanted to be in this profession. You. No one forced you to do it. No one dared you to do it. No one twisted your arm to do this. So I go through all of this trouble. We read your essays. We read your letters of recommendation. We saw how much you were committed to outside activities to help better the human condition. And what really unites you as a class is your selflessness, your ability to want to help someone other than yourself and making sacrifices for someone you don't even know. It was clear that you not only wanted to be in this profession, but we had a hard time imagining you doing some other profession. So what is a profession? I like Vincent van Gogh's definition of a profession. He said, "Your profession is not what brings home your weekly paycheck. Your profession is what you're put here on earth to do, with such passion and such intensity that it becomes spiritual in calling." And here are all of you, the class of 2021, all on the same page, all spiritually called to do this, and all ready to rumble in this field. You were brought here by the love and rare enthusiasm for the unknown, like a detective. You do this because you love solving problems, but much more than just solving equations and putting molecules back together in NMR spec, your heart and your focus is on a patient. That patient is another human being who is being impaired or disabled by a medical condition, who is seeking your wealth of knowledge and decision-making skills to get them better again, to get them whole again. And in a number of instances, they'll be looking at you as a person that stands between their life and death. Life and death. So coming into this, it can be a little overwhelming, but we will help you to be able to do it. You are here to acquire relevant knowledge from world-renowned experts in the field, to develop sharp clinical reasoning skills, to use cutting-edge resources to support your thinking processes in order to protect your patients. Some of you will become involved in clinical or basic science research that will extend even to those whom you can't even touch. Expert clinicians will walk you through your first encounters with a patient. And it's here that our profession really starts to differ from others, because there's a level of trust and compassion that must be maintained through all of this. Your pursuit of your patient's wellness will require you to explore some of the most intimate and personal details of a person's life. You'll have to ask questions like, what orifice is this bleeding coming from? Do you ever make it to the bathroom? What are your toxic habits? Do you think about hurting yourself or others? Or even, are you safe at home? And it doesn't stop there. Then there's the physical exam, yet another art of skill you will learn to master. A patient's clothes come off, which is a very vulnerable position for someone to be with, especially with someone they just met for the first time. But not just that, we may have to put our fingers in our patients in order to rule out a cancer, order invasive tests for them with needles, big needles, and all of the risks that go with that. So this is not something to be taken lightly at all. We have to remember and be reminded that the core of our profession is not us, it's really the patient. Our calling is to improve the well-being of our patients by using what we are super good at, and that's handling knowledge. It's not as glamorous as some of the TV shows out there, and at times you may feel powerless, but every experience that you encounter has a purpose, and I invite you to continually find those purposes as you go through training and beyond. Patients are real human beings, and I'd like to share a personal story. My dad was a police officer and a professional light heavyweight boxer that represented a small country in South America called Guyana in the 1960 Olympic Games in Rome. Somehow this hulking guy, who was my Superman, out of the blue was struck down with a mysterious illness and ended up in the ICU for 2 months. He was eventually diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. I was pre-med at that time, and I felt powerless. So close to the profession, but not quite there and unable to help. Over the next few years, he had multiple surgeries and rounds of chemotherapy. I saw him get weaker and weaker. I saw him lose his hair, and that's the time that I started to shave my head. But what was most refreshing were the medical students, asking their questions about his pain, his appetite, his symptoms, being extra careful with their examinations, and making sure that they had the right bedside manner. I hadn't even started the floors yet, but when I wanted to be involved in helping a patient, I always think back to the love that the med students showed my dad. The times that the med students spent with my father were precious, both to me and to him. And knowing my dad, he would have tipped the med students if he could. Med students had a great impact on us and inspired me to give my patients my everything because it felt right. My father, my biggest advocate, passed away from one of the most preventable cancers in the world before I completed medical school. And although he was the one with the colon cancer, it still devastated my family and me even to this day. And it was then that it really hit me that a disease affects more than just the patient. It has a ripple effect in all aspects of that person's life. Being next to him in the hospital made me understand the fears and everything that patients and families have when an illness arrives. It reinforced to me that patients might as well be me or you. And we owe it to our patients to not only be great detectives, to discover and fix their disease, but to help them manage their illness and help them understand what is going on and what to expect. So as you go through training, look at your mentors and your professors. You're being trained by some of the finest medical professions I have ever come across. Take the best parts of them and the best parts of you and continually craft yourself into the physician that you were called to become. The kind of physician that speaks, teaches, and takes care of patients the same way you would want your own family taken care of. The things that make for a great physician are capacity and love for learning and a warm heart to deliver compassionate care. We know that you have that. So my advice to you is always put your best foot forward. Immerse yourself in everything about medicine. We will support you every step of the way. And by the time you graduate, you would have learned and accomplished even more than you ever thought possible. So for the family, the friends of these future doctors, check in on them from time to time. Make sure they're taking care of themselves because we need them to be strong to get through this. Send them jelly beans, granola bars, Gatorade, trail mix, whatever. Because if you thought they worked hard before, wait till you see what they can really do. And that's okay because students, you were called to do this, and you will do it well. So class of 2021, welcome to Weill Cornell Medicine.
Dr. Crawford, thank you so much for those really, really inspiring words. I'd now like to ask and invite our Dean, Dr. Choi, to the podium to read the Hippocratic Oath. The very same oath that the students will take at their graduation 4 years from now. Dr. Choi.
Thank you, Dr. Hempstead. In our profession, it is an ancient custom that no one may be admitted into the ranks of physician who has not first expressly accepted its responsibilities as set forth in an oath. At Weill Cornell, as in many other medical colleges, we use an oath that bears the name of Hippocrates. In the 2,000 years since its creation, the Hippocratic Oath has been revised many times to reflect changes in the practice of medicine while remaining faithful to its fundamental values. A decade ago, a committee of students and faculty met to revise the Hippocratic Oath, which is administered at the commencement ceremonies. The revised oath was taken at commencement of the class of 2005 and has been used here ever since. So students, this morning you, our students, had the chance to explore the history and meaning of the oath with Dr. Joe Finns. You will not take the oath until your graduation. Nonetheless, on this day, when you don your white coats for the first time as medical students, I'll read it so all can hear. As you listen to the oath, I ask you to reflect upon its meaning as you start your course of study here at Weill Cornell and through all the years as physicians. So the Weill Cornell Medical College Hippocratic Oath. I do solemnly vow to that which I value and hold most dear, that I will honor the profession of medicine, be just and generous to its members, and help sustain them in their service to humanity. That just as I've learned from those who preceded me, so will I instruct those who follow me in the science and the art of medicine. That I will recognize the limits of my knowledge and pursue lifelong learning to better care for the sick and to prevent illness. That I will seek the counsel of others when they're more expert, so as to fulfill my obligation to those who are entrusted to my care. That I will not withdraw from my patients in their time of need. That I will lead my life and practice my art with integrity and honor, using my power wisely. That whatsoever I shall see or hear of the lives of my patients that is not fitting to be spoken, I will keep in confidence. That into whatever house I shall enter, it shall be for the good of the sick. That I will maintain the sacred trust, holding myself far aloof from wrong, from corrupting, from the tempting of others to vice. That above all else, I'll serve the highest interests of my patients through the practice of my science and my art. That I will be an advocate for patients in need and strive for justice in the care of the sick. I turn now to my calling, promising to preserve its finest traditions with the reward of a long experience in the joy of healing. I make this vow freely and upon my honor. I'm thrilled to welcome all of you into the Weill Cornell Medical College family as students and as our physicians of the future. Welcome aboard.
Well, we've talked a lot about white coats, and now I'd like to invite Dr. Bardis, the Associate Dean of Admissions, to come to the podium. He'll be reading the names of the students who come to the front of the auditorium, and our faculty will help the students don their white coats as they receive their stethoscopes.
So if I could ask Doctors Choi, Hempstead, Cohen, and Gerson to come forward, please. And I'll be calling the students in groups of 4. If you please come down as I do say. Adam Abel, Zara Adamu, Mark Shalshak, Brian A. Renan Aparicio, Brian Aristega Almeida, Sarita Balakur, Jakyong Bang. Elena Bidek, Anthony Blackburn, Joshua Bliss, Nicholas Global. Kimberly Bogardus, Arpita Bose, Chelsea Boydston, Claire Burkenau. Caliendo, Catherine Calloway, Sarah Coe, John Che. David Chang, Aaron Chen, Frank Chen, Hung Yu Chen. I thank our first group of coders. I'll ask Doctors Crawford, Fine, Finns, and Golightly to please step forward. Kenny Chen, Zining Chu, Ah-Young Chung, Paulo DeAngelis. Sergio De La Torre, Alicia Dua, Andrew Eidelberg, Rami Elaji. Mahmoud El Jabi, Emily Arisol, Maya Feldman, Kimberly Forlenza. Rachel Friedlander, James Gang, Gary George, Shannon Glynn. Anurag Goel, Ivan Guan, Dominique Guelsch, Aaron Gupta. Leora Haber, Jason Harris, Janice Havasi, Asol Hijazi. Melody Ho, Alex Huang, Hao Huang, Jennifer Huang. And I'll ask our coders to step down, please, and Doctors Kang, Klimstra, Marzik, and Miskovitz to step forward, please. Sonia Yosim, Benjamin Jackson, Abigail Yanke, Connor Jones. Kevin Cal in absentia, Yaniv Kazansky, Yi Jung Kim. Rohini Kaparam, Brian LeGrand, Jerry Lee, Aratina Leon. Han Lee, Kaylin Lee, Bethina Liu, Christopher Liu. Juan Lopez, Brienne Luber, Yulin Ma, Matthew Magruder. Joseph Manzi, Deanna Mejia, Maria Miner, Ruth Moses. Prithvi Mohan, Yong K. Mak, Hector Mora, Max Morin. Now I'll ask our coders to step down, please. And Doctors Choi, Lascalia, Safford, and Zapetti to come forward. Sophie Mu, Zachary Mislinski, Joel Nario, Jesse Novak. Yuna O, Tara Pilato, Tatiana Rekijo, Puha Shah. Abigail Shilvak, Daniel Scoff, Cheyenne Slocum, Natasha Smith. Sarah Swed, Andrew Toder, Samir Tuhani II, Camila Villasante. Gal Wald, Graham Waymeyer, Matthew Wickersham, Samuel Williams. Ashley Wu, William Zhang, Peter Yao, Annie Yao. Melissa Wan, Yili Zhao, Constance Zhao. The class of 2021.
Before we depart, I want to share a few final words with all of you. Firstly, I want to thank all the faculty members for being coders. And as I mentioned before, we, your faculty and administration, promise you, our students, in the presence of everyone here, that we're going to help you become the very best physicians that you can be. I'd also like to thank all of the staff at Educational Events, Student Affairs, Event Services, Curriculum, IT, Admissions, for all their help today. They are also with our students every step of the way. Thanks again to the Buster Foundation for the coats and for the stethoscopes given in honor of Dr. Paul Miskovitz. So this commitment really describes the faith in our future, and we're very grateful for this. Thanks also to the family, the friends, the loved ones who have supported the aspirations of our students. You all wouldn't be here without the support of so many people standing behind you. We want to include all of you in a welcome to our students, which is going to be held at Griffith's Faculty Club. So, as you know, we all like to have a little bit of refreshments and celebration, and we invite you all to join us there. It's right out this hallway and around the corner. Follow all the faculty members, and we'll be happy to welcome you there for that next event. Thank you so much.